Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you for switching on my sound.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's for opening speech first for Mr. Ahmad Zainuri from SECOM, and then after that, Mr. Professor Damir, you can continue to present, and then wait me please. It will opening speech first. It's okay.
Okay. How you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hola from cold Ukraine to everybody. So my name is Damir Bikulov. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. I am Professor, Doctor of Science in Public Administration. I am head of Department of Business Administration in Zaporizhzhia National University of Ukraine. Let me introduce my lecture and myself. So in the recent past, I worked as a vice president of the Zaporizhzhia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. One of the functions of this institute is which to support export operation of Ukrainian companies and foreign companies. So I know export and import flows from my own experience and from experience of companies of our region. And I have an opportunity to transform this practice in a theory and research the information and experience that I gained during my practice. We live in the interesting and dangerous period of time when the usual stereotypes are destroyed, the last empires lost powers and influence, the value and price of intelligence and skilled labor increases. We choose the topic of export not by chance, because based on the theory of mercantilism, as we remember, Adam Smith theory that said the export trade is an active driving force for the country's economy. So then the country gain a lot of gold and silver. This had more power, more authority, and the British Empire proved this theory in the practice. So that the export is active driving force for the country's economy at the stage of its development, and it's the means to exit from the economic crisis or change the economic model. 30 years ago, Ukraine moved away from the command administrative system of public administration. Then Ukraine gained independence. Under the command administrative system, a state institution dictate the quantitative level and structure of public demand. So our authorities dictate and plan what we can and must demand, what we have to eat, what we have to close, what we have to drive. So all the demand was dictated by the party, by the government, and this dictation based into the plans to production. So they plan and dictate what they have, what is our demand, and then they dictate what they have to produce. So the independence has brought a market economy in which the quantitative level and structure of demand, which is determined by the final consumer, by the householders, and the structure and quantity of national production became demand and client oriented. Thus, on the example of Ukraine, that the country which has a transforming economy, this our determination, we will try to explore changes in the structure of export that occur in response to global phenomena. The transformational economy I mentioned at the beginning of my report. For my country, it means that for investor, for owner of company who has inherited its means of production, its plant, its factory, means of production in complex. But there is not fast need to modernize this then immediately. So everything was good. He had a profit, a big profit, because he can product not very expensive raw materials, not very expensive semi-fabricate, semi-product, and everything was good because he had expensive labor force. He had very cheap resources, power, energy, and raw materials. And he did not want and did not force to make reconstruction, to make modernization, to improve innovation in the production, to improve their factories, and he did not plan to launch few.
Sorry. Oh my. Okay. Sir, Professor, I'm sorry.
So because.
Professor, I'm so sorry. Can you hear my voice?
Everything good?
Yeah. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
But you still have you opened your PPT? Have you share screen your PPT? Because in here it still didn't open. You can share screen your material right now.
Okay, 1 minute, please.
Okay.
How you can see the demonstration?
Okay, so the screen is, yes, it's still processing, but I think it will be open.
Can you see a screen?
Yes, right now we can see. You can continue.
How can you see screen?
Yes, now we can see page 3.
Okay, I'm continue. So the large amount of active, especially gained during the period of being in the highest point of the contractive economic wave. So I would like to say about contractive waves. By the way, the modern world is in the initial phase of the rise of the sixth economic wave of contractive, which, according to the forecast made by Schumpeter in the 30s of the 20th century, was to begin in 2015th or 2018th years of this century, and right now we are in the this point, and this point had a special characteristic, special tips that concern to global economic, that concern to economic of countries, that concern to the production, gross domestic product evaluation, and it have some global features. So characteristic, we are in transformational economy, the traditional means of production loss value, and interest for investors rise because they have limited profitability and are unable to earn the level of value added that the investor can obtain in a high-tech business. So I have to return to the characteristic features of the starting point of this way. So about the recent time, as well as all previous ones, each of which lasted while 30 years, or in this century it may be 40 years or 35 years. They are the following phenomena. So firstly, we have a migration crisis, we have fast labor movement, but this movement unproportional. So we have a lack of qualified labor, but they have a very lot of unqualified labor. So uneven distribution of labor resources became a reason of migration crisis in Europe. So now in Ukraine we have no good worker, no good manager, no good technical specialists. So we have a lot of bloggers, we have a lot of Insta bloggers, we have a lot of security, and we have a lot of soldiers. This very it has a very bad influence to the economy and production. So we have widening gap in household incomes in most countries, including developing countries and including industrial countries, especially in the transformational countries that have a good resources, good condition, but have no good economical policy of the government. We can see a change of economic leadership among the developed countries. Right now, this is China and USA. So like 60 years ago, changed Great Britain and USA. So we have a lot of local military conflict for the no apparent reasons. So we have military conflict in Ukraine that have no real reasons. But we think that all this conflict provocate and support from powerful world. The color revolutions are a good example and a good reason for understanding this. So we have currencies crisis, change of leading currencies. Now the cryptocurrencies lead and rule in the currencies world. So we have a pandemic, we have a stagnation of the basic science, lack of significant scientific discoveries that can change the world. They have no such technologies, and they have no rising in the natural sciences. So they have growing demand for construction materials, steel, woods. They have energy crisis that understood by all the governments, all the people. They have how changed prices to the to the power, to the electric energy, to the gas, to the diesel. We have we can see it by own eyes, and they have a problem in the household and in the industry. So we have at rest, we have a food crisis, which is caused by both natural phenomena and the behavior of the mass consumer. All these phenomena are interconnected and originate from each other. In our opinion, the most significant problem of humanity is the state of environment, a global status of environment which suffers and does not recover in each phase of the economic waves of Kondratiev or Kuznets, of all the scientists who think that economic developing in by the cycles. So I returned to the Kondratiev waves. So as is known from the theories of Ricardo and Heckscher, Olin, from theories of comparative advantages or relative advantages. So the advantages in export or certain product in the country that has relative advantages in production. So if one country and companies of this country have resources, have the good natural condition for production of some product, this country and companies of this country can export this product in other country. And Heckscher Olin said that a good combination of factors of production, labor, soil and labor area and capital make and stipulate production and export of their goods, their products to in other country. For Ukraine, we have two basic products for export, and we try to compare this product. First, our export product and our maybe 20 or 25% of gross domestic product is metal. It's metal because Ukraine has a good natural resources, iron ore. Ukraine passed through all the wars, all the global conflict that took place in the European continent, and traditionally had a lot of metal scrap. So we have a lot of energy, electric power, and coal that is make good resources for metallurgy. And Ukraine has very good natural condition and resources for agriculture. So we try to compare transformation of export flows of metal and semi-finished product in their primary form or secondary forms, metal, steel, and cast steel or rolled steel, this constructional product, construction materials for building, for machinery, for all other hard life, all the hard material based to the metal, wood, or stones. No another. Plastic is not very good, but this constructional material too. And another flows, the grain, cereals, including oil seeds, this second, or now it becoming the first export flows of Ukraine. This very important in this time too. So each of the both products groups has a high share of the structure of the export of Ukraine, not less than 1/5 of total export, and so in gross domestic products, as I said earlier. We will be first to consider the product of metallurgical industry. There are six large manufacturer of steel in Ukraine, which produced about 38 or 30 million tons of steel per year. In the world market, steel is in the great demand. However, this is tendency of high demand for Ukrainian products, this low added value. Added value, as I think, is the very important part of production, all the business. That business revived, which can earn many added value. So we consider iron ore the raw material for metallurgy. It cost $150. So they have Ukrainian product, Zaporizhzhia product, cold cast steel. It cost $750. Added value is $60. This $60, the owner of business, investor, the employee earn and divide this into each other. So, and the can see added value that earn German business or Chinese business. It bought steel for $750, and they produce BMW that cost $30,000, and added value it's $29,250, $29,250. This the reason because German people or Chinese people live better than Ukrainian or another people who earn less added value. Ukrainian metallurgical enterprises companies belong to a small group of the owners who occupy a consolidated position and work mainly to export, because the domestic Ukrainian market is 4 million tons in the best situation, while the export market is 1.5 billion tons, and maybe 1/3 of this quantity we all the world supplied to China. So China, this biggest manufacturer and biggest consumer of steel. But their enterprises, metallurgical plants, employ about 400,000 people. So this industry is important for government institutions, for government. The currency, foreign currency, dollars, euros received by exporters enters the domestic foreign exchange market, so thereby stabilizing the national currency, the hryvnia. Investment in Ukrainian metallurgical enterprises over the past 10 years amount to about 9 billions, but the need for investment in is about 12 billions for the next 5-8 years, and their absence will lead to deep degradation of this industry, environmental crisis, and conflict with local communities that suffers for ecological influence of metallurgical plant, from the dust, from the harmful chemicals, from the very bad air in our cities. Stocks of iron ore and scrap metal are actively used, and the prospects for stable supply of raw materials do not exceed 5 years. Demand on the world market for metal and at relatively low prices will always be only if the prices is variable, so they can survive in any way. They can sell the metal by all prices, but then prices decrease. The foreign currency, dollars and euro arise in Ukraine. So because the owner of metallurgical plant are have a very big influence to the government, and they can dictate the currency exchange course. So the can return to agriculture is the second most important branch of Ukrainian industry. Agriculture moreover, if 40 years later, 40 years ago, sorry, agriculture was a most important branch of Ukrainian production. So Ukraine was a best conditional area for agriculture in 20th century, but in 30th years of 20th centuries, government and the dictator of USSR decided to make industrialization. So they build factories, they build big plants, they build power electric station, and they destroyed agriculture as a business, as a industrial, as a part of domestic production, and they succeed in this. So Ukraine passed this cruel lack of food in lot of periods of time. So they destroyed all the possibilities and conditions for production, for agricultural production, but the nature and God helped to other country, and no one dictator, no wars cannot destroy our agriculture condition finally. So they have the good condition now, they have a good natural resources. Now the opposite situation is happening. So the agriculture becomes the main producer of gross domestic product and forms the basis of country's export potential. So recently, the world is experiencing accelerated physical degradation of agricultural land due to the depletion and uneven distribution of land, especially water resources between countries lack. Lands are used irrationally as a result of their usefulness in different countries differ significantly. Thus, in North Africa, the real yield is 40% of potential. Africa or Sub-Saharan Africa, 27%. Eastern Europe and Ukraine, including 38 or 40%. Eastern Asia, so attention, 89% of its potential. So they have a good technologies. I think South Korea, I think Japan have a very good technology of agriculture. These calculations include the natural potential of the land. So we recognize that Ukrainian land have more potential than Japanese or Korean land, but they have a poor technology. The world forest area has declined by 178 million hectares over the past 30 years. This area rudely compare this the size of Libya. However, the demand for social goods is formed primarily by middle class, which requires an increase of product quality. So they have a lack of middle class, but they have a very high demands and very high thoughts about the needed quality of goods. This is especially true of foods that are at the first level of the Maslow's pyramid needs. So they consume foods every day and they can estimate its quality very strictly. And they can spend all the money, all the earning to this food. Then they have a poor mood. They need to try something tasty. So they have spent money to this without any hesitation. Because the product of daily demand, which primarily determines the quality of human lives, moods, and ability to work efficiently, study, and more. Lack of calories in the dairy resources, a person reduce potential, intellectual potential, increase aggressive and depressed moods of the population. It creates a negative atmosphere in society. So then some person have a diet, sorry, not diet, have a diet, have a lack of calories, then they have to burn its fat. He have a very bad mood. He's angry. He's aggressive, and because his brain told him to find the food. But then they're speaking about people who have a natural lack of food. So people have no food, no access to food, no money for food. They have another picture. Thus, the caloric content of the diet in the European Union is more than 3,500 calories. The United States and Canada eat about 3,800 calories. In East Asia, they eat 3,400 calories. In Ukraine, we eat 2,900 calories. But some countries in Africa eat less than 2,000 calories daily. So this very bad situation, and people in a lot of countries have a lack of calories. It influences to quality of labor, quality of power, quality of qualification and good job. More than 600 million people in the world do not eat or need food. 40 million people are hungry. So it's real hungry that caused by lack of calories, less than 2,000. Governments participate in various programs, make facilities and public purchases for food raw, but it's not enough to decide to solve the problem. A political, social, and economic crisis are instantly increases the consumption of alcohol, tobacco, and especially sweets. This is evidenced by the dynamic of quotas of shares of companies that manufacture and sell relevant products and interest in them by system investor. So on the eve of the global currency crisis, as we can remember that took place in 2028, so 12 years ago, the Warren Buffett, a well-known global investor, bought a controlling stake in the companies that produce sweets, so Mars Foods, Wrigley, and other, because the person, human, then they feel crisis around its own self. He need smoke, he need alcohol, but the not dangerous ways to take a sweet or candy, and this anti-stress means for everything which in global access and not dangerous, not harmful for health. On the example of Ukraine, consider how the transformation of export flows during the economic crisis in the initial stage of contractive wave took place since 2018 till 2020s. Yes. Ukraine, as we know, Ukraine is one of the world leaders in food production and export, as it has a large territory. Arable land is about 60 million hectares. Land quality is one of the best in Europe and the world. 90% of land has access to water and the ability to build infrastructure for irrigation or such infrastructure available yet. The chemical composition of lands is very high quality. The share of natural nitrogen, potassium, and other nutrition is large, and Chernozem black soil. I don't know how it calls in English, but black soils, very productive soils, make up about 70% of all soils in Ukraine. So it's very good soil. Then our countries suffer from World War in the 40s years of last century. The aggressors took the soil and transport it to the Germany and use it as a own soil for agriculture. Maybe it's legend, but everything knows about the best quality of Ukrainian soil. So land plots have a sufficient infrastructure for logistic operation. In recent years, a network of terminals has been built, which provides the accumulation, storage, and transportation of grain crops anywhere in the world using the Great Dnieper River, Southern Bug riverbeds, and waters of Azov and Black Sea ports. There is enough energy of all kinds for primary processing of grain crops, which generated by the power plants of all known types: nuclear, hydropower, thermal, wind, and solar. The climate is temperate, predictable, and without significant crises. Terrain is very good without mountains, allows you to grow any regional climatic products. The weak point of Ukrainians' agriculture is processing, but there is a concession policy of trader owners because raw material export operations are more profitable than processing and selling finished product. The situation is due to oligopoly that occurs in the market of agricultural processor. There, the price is formed as a result of shadow agreement between major market players. In Ukraine, it's Monsanto, Kernel, Cargill, Louis Dreyfus, and State Food Corporation of different countries, including on Ukraine. These companies have almost unlimited opportunities to lend the producer, which guarantee futures contract for the purchase of grain and sunflower grains. So then, in the spring, then our agricultural manufacturers need money to technology, to operation preparation and growing of the seeds of the grain. They took this money from the trader. So, but its harvest in this time, since this time sold by the price which dictated by the trader. The average profitability of grain export in Ukraine is 28%, sunflower oil 21%. For example, chicken export of chicken has 15%. So finished product are limited in export. They are aimed at the domestic market, which in general consumers led the world and is unattractive in terms of pricing. So the world market is unlimited for our manufacturer and for our trader, but domestic market is very small, and domestic consumer is have growing interests, so it's very not very comfort from manufacturers. So it's simply to sell all the product to export. Let's analyze structure and quantitative indicator of export from Ukraine of metallurgical products and grain in the period 2018 to 2021. So let's see the screen. It's the aim of my lecture, transformation of export flow. So we can see the total trend of export. This the line above. we have $57 billion in 2018. We have less export, 15 billions in 2019, and we have 59 billions and 4 in 2020. So they have a little bit of decrease in the middle of this line, but it caused by pandemic, by the rise of pandemic, which changed consumption interest and consumption's behavior. But and we have a constant decrease of export of steel from Ukraine. We have 11 and 6 billions. Next year we have 10 and 4, and this year we have in 20 years we have 9, but in this year we will have poor statistics, so this line will be continued to below point. And the export and consumption of raw materials, of raw agricultural materials, grain, this wheat grain, corn grain, sunflower grain, rice in constant times. So the previous part of this line will be in below point. So the growth is constant and systematic. We have 18 and 6 billions in 18. We have 22 and 14 billions in 2019, and we have 22 and 7 in 20s years, but in these years we will have more indicators, more expert, because we have a very good harvest of sunflower, corn, and grains. So this line will arise more rapidly. As we can see in these schedules, export of agricultural raw materials rising all the last 3 years without dependence of export volatilities. The main reason of this situation is a good combination of production factor and constant growing demands to the food raw all over the world. So this conclusion of my lecture, this aim, and I think in next 10 years Ukraine will become a largest food exporter, food manufacturer of Europe, one of the largest exporter of the world, and I think businessmen from our countries, scientists will support them, and we can make a good business. This our country, we can use inter-universities links and contacts, and I thank you, I thank our colleagues from Indonesia, from Malawi. I said great thanks for the opportunity to tell you about this problem, about this possibility, and I invite your business in Ukraine, in Zaporizhzhia, and we, as a scientist and as a businessman, will help you in new contact and new business. I thank you, dear ladies and gentlemen, your excellencies, for attention. I excuse me for my poor English, because we have no practice in Ukraine because of pandemic, because of limitation of our trips to abroad, but it's a pleasure try to answer your question. Please ask me or write me to my mail, to my contact that had organizer of this conference. I'll try to answer you, and one moment. I try to answer you, and I think our collaboration will be useful for us and for our universities.
I'm so sorry, here is still a little bit noisy. Can you answer the question on the chat?
Дамир Сергійович, тут є питання в чаті до вас.
Okay, here is any question from Ms. Santi Widyastuti on the live chat.
How can hear me? That I don't hear you. I said I don't hear you.
Okay, I'm so sorry, Professor, and also all of participants, because in here is a little bit noisy, and then I just can speak now. And thank you so much for presentation for the material, and now is Q&A session. If you guys have any question, you can raise hand, then I will invite you here, and you can ask directly to all of the speakers you want, and or you can put the question in live chat on Zoom or YouTube. Then I will continue it to the speakers. Okay, Professor, here is any question from Ms. Santi Widyastuti. How has the Ukrainian government respond to development of small industries after their pandemic? And what has been done to save the crisis of the lower-caste community? Okay, here is the question. I was forwarded on live chat. It is from Ms. Santi Widyastuti. How has the Ukrainian government responded to the development of small industry after their pandemic, and what has been done to save the crisis of the lower class community? That's the question.
We don't hear you.
So, okay, how you can hear me?
Perfect.
Zida?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So I have
Yes.
I had a question. How has the Ukrainian government responded to the development of small industries over the pandemic? So they respond as they can. So as they can, the government give to small businesses some money as the one dotation. It consists, as I know, $300 for a year for limitation of for clients, for small shops, for cafe, for fitness center. So they gave it in the end of last year, but right now we have a problem with vaccinations. So all the people who can show the certificate for vaccination can visit the gym, can visit museum, cannot visit the cinema. So they all is a small business, and in the December, our government give for all the vaccinated citizens money about $40 to visit in gyms, museum, or cinemas. So I can spend this money only for cinemas or for gym, but I cannot buy a food, I cannot buy a car, but I can spend it, and I can take it from the governmental apps in the smartphone. So I think this good intention, but very hard realization.
Okay, thanks for answering. That is the answer from Professor Demir. And perhaps here is any question again. What can we do as a teacher to prepare our students to face the socio-economic crisis, and how do the teacher in Ukraine prepare their students to face it? That is on live chat.
One moment. So we tell to our student truths. So the study management, the make lecture in management, we make practice in the real companies and companies of our stakeholders, of our partner. So we led to our students to see the business, how our businesses take money. The propose to other students make a sport to we visit together the gym, the boxing hall, we make a competition in martial art, in boxing in our university, and we say truth to other students, the prepare there to real life without any lie. So the try to study them to adopt reality as tell well to this as it real life. So they try to study them in real condition and study them in real companies. So they try to transform our experience and transfer it to our students. And in my 10 years, 12 years works in university, I can see results of my job of my colleagues, and we prepared a lot of successful businessmen, successful state officers, successful diplomats and bankers. So these people said thanks to us, and somebody of them became a lecturer in other universities. So we invite them to our lectures, to other studies, and they tell students truth, and they study our students to earn the money and adopt reality as it in the real form. So thank you.
Okay, so the first is make them understand for student and then prepare for anything we will do study, right? And here is anyone's question again. So then what about the traditional product, especially food or traditional food in Ukraine right now? And is that all of product still built with other concept for the quality or new package for traditional food? I mean that the traditional food, is that still built? Is that still development? And is that still export or import for other countries like that?
So the main aim of our exporters is to gain a big big cargo, to big cargo. Quality is to big cargo. This is my name because the losses and expenses to the transportation will be less than we transport 5,000 tons than we transport 20 tons. So, and quality is not not a problem. Not a problem because a lot of our state institution control quality because the 10 years ago we have a problem this radiology this because the problem of Chernobyl because some foods had radiation, but now we have no this problem, and the low quality goes to animals, and high quality goes to people. On a lot of product of agriculture goes to fuel, to biofuel, to gas, to diesel. So in it all the biological product use it fully. Have you any questions? So now I write my email.
Okay, so I'm sorry, can you hear my voice now, Professor?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for your answer. Product export on their. Hello, sorry. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now, can you hear my voice clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have bad connection right now. So, how is the development food product for export to other country on Ukraine?
Can you write it in the chat? Because I hear part of your questions, but not all the words. Please write it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I will write it on the like. Professor, can you hear my voice right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I think I have bad connection in here. This is the last question. how is the development food product export on Ukraine? That is, like as you answered before, on that the quality is not think about the quality, but how to build that, and then how to develop the food product for export to other country on Ukraine. It's meant for traditional product.
So traditional product, our traditional products of export is metal, is chemical and food stuff, not foodstuffs, raw food materials. So this, I think Ukraine take its own place in the world production. So we in this year, in next year, sorry, the Ukrainian soil will be sold to private persons. So before this time, our soil plots were owned by people and by state, but nobody legally had a big soil plot. So the big plot, it begins from 1,000 hectares. So and then you have 1,000 hectares. You can make a good business. You can earn money for soil. You can make a good technologies. You can reduce the price, and you can raise the quality of product. So and I think the main aim of our exporters and our producers is make more added value. So then we sell the grain, the raw grain. We have one part of added value, but then we sell pasta or bread. They have one or two more stage of added value, so they earn more, and our people earn more, and they have a new business. They have a new working place, new employees, and new taxes, and it's very good for country and good for our clients, and more manufactured goods sold from sell from Ukraine to can export to. For example, we export sunflower oil, not the seed but oil, but it's new stage of added value, and it's new earning, and Ukraine is very good player, very powerful player in the market of sunflower oil, and it has a very good quality, but they have a lot of possibilities, but they have no interest of rich people to develop them, because they earn a big bulk of money, big profit right now. They need not develop, but then they wanted to earn more. They invest money. They improve new technologies, and they create a new business and new quality of products.
Oh, okay. Like so. Thanks for all your answers, Professor Jamir. And I think I will ask for participants again. Maybe here, is there any question again for Professor Jamir? If we are, or you all guys have one question again, so I think I will close it. And Professor, you are really give us many information about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. But before we are closing, may we take a picture first? So for all participants, let's open the camera or video for taking a picture now. We just need a moment for take a picture now. Let's open your camera, guys. Okay, for page 1, let's open camera, please. Open your video, please. We will take a picture just a moment. Okay. Okay, so for page 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then for the next page, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then the last page, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you so much. And now I will close it first. Thank you for opening camera or video, and thanks for all of the participants today who have joined until end, and hopefully all of you will get many information about transformations of export flows in the context of global food crisis on this visiting lecture today. And I want to say sorry if any mistakes when I handle this event for all of you, and thanks for Staycom University for always supporting us and on this event, and especially really thank you so much for Zaporizhzhia National University Ukraine for give us really great material today. Then see you at the second days. We still have day 2 and day 3. Day 2 is on Wednesday and Thursday, 24 and 25 November 2021 at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then the last day for the day 3 is on Friday, 26 November 2021 at 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. with speakers from Zaporizhzhia National University, Ukraine. So, Professor Damir, maybe something you wanna tell to us, maybe a little like as a message or something, if you want, please.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Yeah. I thank you for your kind attention. I'm sorry for some mistakes in my English, and I'm waiting for your questions, so you can ask me by email. Some gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen yet sent me questions for materials. I'll send my lecture conspect of this lecture, and maybe some questions about export, about foreign trade of Ukraine, about international economics. I'll be glad to answer you, and I'll be glad to discuss this some colleagues about this problem and perspectives about development of the foreign trade, of export, of import, and international collaboration and business. Okay.
Yes. If we chat you on email, I mean, might we get your presentation material on that email?
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and then I will share your email for the participants today who join in here, and then they will chat you by email. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. So now it's enough It's really great, really good presentation for today. Okay, for participant, if you wanna say thank you or wanna greeting something to Professor Jamir, please.